around this time of year, we triathletes tend to start moving away from our winter, our off-season, our base training, and towards more race-specific training as those races seem to be getting ever closer. And since it seems to be quite a while since I have kind of dug into what my training has been like for you guys, I thought maybe we could go over how the off-season has looked for me. I'm Josh, a London-based age group triathlete, hoping to get good enough results this year to earn my pro license. And in today's video, we'll break down exactly what I've been focusing on over the off season in swim, bike and run, and in the gym. So let's dive straight in by starting with the swim. And I'm going to be honest, swimming really hasn't been my focus this off season. Last year I had some pretty great swims, culminating with probably my best 70.3 swim at the Gauntlet at Hever Castle, coming first out the water with a pretty good margin. So I've really put my swimming on the back burner over the winter. For most of the time I've only been swimming twice a week. So October, November, December and January I was only swimming twice a week. And yeah, I'm definitely swimming worse than I was in August, but I'm really not that worried because I know that I can get that swim power back. And middle of February now, and I'm back to swimming 3 times a week, and that's likely to go up to 4 times a week closer to my events. And I'm still feeling really confident in the pool. To kind of combat swimming only twice a week, I have increased the volume in each individual swim session. So normally I would swim kind of 3 to 3.5k, where I'm trying to swim closer to 4 or just over 4k per swim set. So my swim volume hasn't really decreased that much, but I definitely notice a small decrease in progression because I'm not swimming as frequently. And I really think, especially for swimming, that frequency does play a massive part. But the things that I have tried to focus on, even in my reduced amount of swimming, has been, first off, technique. My technique isn't that bad, but there are a couple of key areas that we've really tried to improve, especially around my kind of overall body position streamline and my head movement. I think those are the 2 biggest things that we've tried to unlock over the winter, working with my swim coach, Matt. So thanks, Matt, for always looking out for me. We've also been working on my stamina by, increasing the duration of each individual swim, but also by doing longer intervals compared to this time last year. And we've also been putting in a bit of top end work throughout this. We haven't really done any tempo, any threshold sessions really. We've mainly focused on that steady stuff, or that top end, where those kind of tempo and threshold sessions that are more race specific will come closer to my first race of the season. But that swimming, arguably not the most interesting part of my winter training. Now on to cycling, and unfortunately cycling stayed pretty similar. However, I've really made sure not to kind of drift into those more race specific intensities that I think I was doing too much of too far away from events last year. So this year I've really focused on increasing the volume of cycling that I've been doing and making sure the vast majority of that is at base, and the intensity that I am doing is VO2 or anaerobic work. Now, that might seem a little bit weird because hopefully I'll never be going anaerobic or maybe even into VO2 throughout my 70.3 triathlons, but I think it's really important, and we'll kind of touch in the running section physiologically why that's important. However, I do think at this point of the year you don't want to be doing loads of race specific intensities, especially that lactate threshold work. I really want to kind of put that off until closer to my events because you get a really big bolus from that quite quickly. And I'd much rather be doing significantly more riding than I was doing this time last year, rather than focusing on intensity. So I've been able to increase my overall cycling time by 20%, and because my base kind of wattage has increased, I've seen a significant increase, kind of way more than that 20% in the kind of overall work that I'm doing on the bike. And the other thing that's changed in my cycling is that I'm doing the vast majority, if not all of that work on the turbo over the winter. Last year I was still venturing outside on the bike, but living in London is just not a valuable use of time. And as I start to take triathlon more and more seriously and aim towards higher and higher goals, I kind of have to make sacrifices sometimes, unfortunately. And one of those things has been like a long Sunday ride. That's being done on the turbo. It's 4 hours on the turbo. It's grim, but it is incredibly effective. Regularly cracking 3,500 kJs worth of work is really, really great to be banking this time of year. Now on to running, and any long-time viewers of the channel will know that I am crap at running. I have been crap for years and years and years now. Now, I have improved over the last few years, but I don't know if I've ever really taken the steps that I need to tackle the problem with my running. That's why at the start of my winter off season, I went to Loughborough University to do some running sub-maximal and maximal, or lactate and VO2 testing. And I'll put the video where I broke down my experiences up in the cards and down in the description below. But that really highlighted the key places where I needed to improve my running. And kind of unsurprisingly, that was everywhere. But the number one place that we thought we'd be able to make some really easy, significant wins is around my running efficiency. I am apparently incredibly inefficient at running, and anyone who's watched me run could have probably told me that, but it's nice to have that hard data to back that up. And the main way in my running that I've tried to improve my efficiency has just been running more. It's that simple, and it pains me to say it, but I've never given running the time that I really think I needed to. Previously, I'd be really happy if I was running 40 or 50k in a week. That would be like a big week of running for me, and I'd be like, stack a few of those together, we're running really good. But I genuinely don't think that's enough to get where I want to go now. And so for kind of the last maybe 6 or 7 weeks, we've consistently run over 70k every week. And this week was the first week that I cracked 80k. We're going to keep cranking that up. We're going to go over 90k. We might even be running 100 or 200k weeks before my first races of the season. And just running more, increasing your volume, really does make you more efficient. It's one of the easiest ways to improve your efficiency and just to become an overall better runner. But that isn't all we took away from the testing. We also understood that my VO2 wasn't that high in running, and my lactate threshold, or my LT2, was pretty high as a percentage of my VO2. And so we thought, rather than continuing to try and push up that lactate threshold, focusing on that VO2 work and then raising my LT2 closer to my race events would likely be a better strategy. So I've been incorporating 1 to 2 VO2 max specific workouts per week, and that's going to continue pretty much all the way until my events, even once we change to an LT2 specific phase. And I've also been back in the gym over the winter. I think this is always a part of triathlon training which I and many other triathletes overlook, but I've really tried to be dedicated to it over the winter. The reason for my renewed focus on the gym is I did find myself fading muscularly towards the end of hard training sessions and races, and I think that's something you always want to avoid. So by getting in the gym, making yourself physically stronger and more resilient, I think will combat that. And it also ties into the running efficiency piece that we were talking earlier. By strengthening your muscles and by doing some more plyometric or explosive work, that can massively improve efficiency. So currently I'm focusing on low rep, high weight work, and then some plyometric and explosive work. I will probably continue the plyometric and explosive work as we get closer to races, but switch from heavier to more moderate work as more intensity enters my training regime. But obviously I write my own training, I make my own sessions. I'd love to hear what you guys have been doing over the winter. Do you think I'm missing the mark? Am I missing something that's going to kind of hold me back? I'd love to know your opinions and what you guys have been doing down in the comments below. All this talk about winter training has reminded me that I've got one more training session to complete today, so I'm going to head off and do that. I hope your next training session goes incredibly well, and I will see you all in the next video.